So, hey, keep seeing you, but you gotta text me my number. Yeah? Was that awesome?
Yes! Welcome to DTP! T's not here this week, so I'm going to attempt to do icebreakers. That's fun, I know.
He's the one that goes
What? Speak louder! Woo! Alright, you guys remember the game Biggest Fan? Does anyone remember that? Yeah, the rock, paper, scissors one and we cheer each other on. Does anyone remember that? Yeah? Yeah? Demonstrate. Come demonstrate. Come demonstrate. Alright, Biggest Fan, this is how it works. You play rock, paper, scissors, shoot. If you lose, you become the other person's biggest fan. Now, the goal is to have the most fans, and eventually there's only going to be 2 people, and that's going to be the showdown of the century. Let's see an example real quick.
Wait, are we on shoot?
Yeah, alright. Rock, paper, scissors. Alright. No, yeah, we got it, right? We don't get it? Y'all get it?
Demonstration.
Alright, everyone stand up and find a partner. Oh, wait, I forgot something. Before you do it, you have to introduce yourself. Let's go! Welcome to DTP. Before we get into our shenanigans, I have some announcements for you guys. Quick ones. So, if you're looking for a church, there are many options, believe it or not. So we got the chapel on campus, as you know. 7 p.m. Mass is when a lot of the people here go. So if you're looking for someone to go with, just grab someone. Lizzie Raffo is someone who would love to bring you. She's not here tonight, but we'll get you connected. There's also City Light Church, which is in Manuel. I'm the point person for that, so if you're looking to go to church around 10:45 in the morning, hit me up, and we got you. We'll get you a ride there. And then there's also another church, Story Philly. Awesome church. It's an awesome church, and they meet at night. And the pickup time is 5:45, 5:15.
Starbucks. Also, if you're going to come this week, come see me like right after we're done here, because I gotta take some like logistical arrangements for y'all. So please come by.
See her. Also, random announcement. I heard they're playing Christmas music on B102.
Yes.
Not allowed.
It's too early. So that's just a random thing that was requested to be announced. And also, we have these things here called life groups, which are awesome ways for you to get more in depth with your faith. And it's like groups of men and women, and we meet up. There's 4 different groups, and we can get you with the times on that after. But just grab me or someone else if you have any questions about life groups. Join one, yeah. Actually, better yet, come to one. Come to one. You don't have to be there every week. Just come. Come once. Or every week. Anyway, Peter has some announcements for us too.
Yeah. Well, I have a fun announcement.
Fun.
Well, yeah, fun and exciting. This is kind of new. So I work for a campus ministry group called the CCO, which stands for the Coalition for Christian Outreach. And one of the best things that the CCO does is helping you as students connect your faith to your vocation. So whether you're pre-med, or you want to be an accountant, or you want to go into education, or biomedical research, or whatever, is really helping you understand that every calling is a high calling, and that God calls you to transform the world through whatever He's calling you to do. And one of the coolest spaces that they do that is at a conference every year called Jubilee, where 3,000 students from around the area all converge on Pittsburgh for a weekend. And there are world-class speakers and breakout sessions. And so I wanted to show you a little video, a little information, and then be available to answer any questions that you might have afterwards. So, first, here is a little review from last year.
This is my favorite time of year. I love it so much. The worship and the community of so many leaders coming together.
Thousands of college students coming to this one place at this one time to worship this one amazing God.
To see people's like faith in action and like to see everybody so excited about it was just amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
Where else can you go to be a part of this?
It's very diverse. I've never really seen anything like it, how people of different backgrounds are coming together to serve our God.
The Lord has been teaching me a lot about how to live my life for Him unashamedly for more than just this one weekend of the year and in every area of my life.
Coming to Jubilee has just rejuvenated my faith, and I'm just so excited to go out to the world.
Every year I grow in the Lord even more.
It's just like burning in my heart the entire time. Like everything He said was like hitting every single spot.
Millennials, the world needs you.
At your worst moment when you felt the dirtiest, God decided to love you.
Suffered silently, died vicariously, rose victoriously, here returned very gloriously. You're a major, you're an academic, you're a broken world, whatever it is, nothing is outside the reach of God's redemption.
just curious. Nobody.
Oh, I've been there.
Jan's been there. You've been there. You've been there. So you can ask them. I've been there as well. We're kind of blazing a new trail this year for DTP, and we really want to represent. This is just a little glimpse of some of the speakers that will be there. Anybody know Lecrae? Yeah. Lecrae is going to be one of the keynotes. All these. Anybody know Sho Baraka? He's a pretty awesome dude. So lots of really cool people that will be either speaking on the main stage or talking about different things. So you see up here, if you're into art, there's going to be breakout sessions by artists, athletics, journalism, music, politics, reading. I don't know, is reading a thing? Oh, there you go. Education, entrepreneurship, people that are out there changing the world through their businesses and their jobs, but are doing it for Jesus. Will talk to you in small groups and explain to you and answer your questions and help you find your calling. So anyway, it's in February, the 17th through the 19th, 2 nights, and it is $239. That includes the hotel. What? It is a lot. It is a lot.
Is there any scholarships available?
There are some scholarships available for different categories of students. So if that's something you're interested in and finances are what would keep you from coming, talk to me and I'll talk with my area director about that. One of the reasons I wanted to just announce it tonight is that the price goes up $20 starting December 1st. So if you wanted to ask me questions or you were just like already totally planning on going, then sign up between now and then. It's $50 to sign up, and then you pay the rest later. So you don't need to have it all together. And we'll even try to do some fundraisers and stuff like that beginning of next semester. And it's just a blast. So you would go to jubileeconference.com to register. I put a link on our Facebook page, but mostly come chat with me if you have any questions. We're hoping to take 10 or 12 students, pack a van, drive to Pittsburgh, scout it out for St. Joe's next year. Maybe we'll take 50 people next time. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. I'd love to answer any questions you have. And yeah, Jubilee. Woo!
And I would love to answer any questions too. It's pretty cool.
Do you want me to do this?
Starting the
What?
exam?
Do you want me to do this?
This
next
time.
I got it. This is on. Is this thing on?
Cool. We got one more announcement here.
What? Ollie.
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Molly.
I'm Ollie.
Hi. I have some really, really important news. So just before I got here, guess who I got a text from?
Who?
Santa!
What?
This is what he said. Hi Molly, I'm trusting you to put together a very important event. In the spirit of Christmas, you and I know Jesus is what it's all about. And magic. So on Friday, December 9th at St. Joe's Perch, there will be a Jesus birthday bash. You cannot plan and decorate this magic celebration on your own. I am calling all elves at St. Joseph's to help you on this endeavor.
Usually our announcements aren't that long, but it's an exciting time of year. So, yeah, welcome to DTP. If this is your first time here, we are a Christian fellowship group that is just like built on the love of Jesus. So wherever you're at in your faith, wherever you come from, know that you're welcome here. Whether you believe or you don't believe, we just want to know. We want you to know that you're loved and you're welcome here. We come here to know more about Jesus through His Word. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do tonight, guys. And I'm going to pray and we're going to get into worship. Father God, thank you, Lord, for Jesus. Thank you that you just brought us all here, God. Thank you that you have a plan, Lord, and you're a Father. God, I just thank you that you know every single one of us in here, Lord, and you love us, God, more than we can even understand, more than we can comprehend, Father. I pray that we would just live into that. God, help us receive that today, God. Help us believe that today, God. Wherever we're at, Father, I pray that we would just release anything that's keeping us from knowing you, God. Anything that's keeping us from knowing you, God. I just pray that you would get rid of it, Lord. It's only by your power, Jesus. God, we thank you that you love us no matter what we've done. Lord, we don't deserve love, God, but you love us anyway, Jesus. So I pray that we would just be able to encounter you tonight, God. Thank you, Jesus, for this room. Thank you for Christmas. Thank you for Jubilee. Thank you for all these beautiful people in this room, God. It's in your name that I pray, Jesus. Come back, living hope, your presence. I've tasted and seen, sweetest of loves. My heart becomes free, shame is undone. Your presence, Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence. I've tasted and seen of the sweetest of loves. When my heart becomes free and my shame is undone. Your presence, Holy Spirit, you are welcome. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your presence. these things called life groups, and tonight we have sorry. So we have these things called life groups, and we are blessed to have a life group takeover tonight. So that means they're going to share. I'm going to pass this over to Bernardo now.
What's up, everybody? So I'm part of a gentleman's life group that meets every Wednesday at 7:15 in DP. It's a great opportunity to not only continue just a connection with other Christians and continue your Sunday worship and diving into the Word, but it's also a great opportunity to ask questions, any doubts that you might have, anything you might heard, whether it's something that you want to find out more about or if it's something that bothers you. We're by no means expert theologians, but we understand that we have a loving God, and the whole purpose of the life group is to just get me into a better relationship with Him and with God through others. So I encourage you all to come. If I see anybody new next week, maybe I'll buy you further fries or something.
Can I go?
No problem.
Okay.
So these two guys right here are going to share a little bit about what Christ has been doing in their life and what's been put on their hearts recently. Dom's going to start us out and Paul.
Alright, hey guys. If you don't know me already, my name's Dom. I'm a sophomore here at St. Joe's. And before we get into the teaching that Hayden has for us tonight, Dan just asked me to share a short testimony about my life and what Christ has been doing in me. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a Christian home, but that certainly doesn't mean that there hasn't been struggles and challenges along the way. One of the biggest struggles in my life, easily, and challenges that I've had to face, when I was 9 months old, my dad passed away from cancer. At a young age, he was 32 at the time, and I never really knew my dad. I've heard stories about him. I've seen pictures and everything, but he passed at such a young age that I never really got to know what type of man he was, and never really got to form that bond. And growing up, it's been hard. I know for a long time I was angry at God. I sort of asked, why me, God? Like, why did you have to, take my father out of my life? I searched for that answer for a long time, and I just pondered and pondered, like, what the meaning of all of this was. And one of my favorite verses in the Bible comes from Jeremiah 29:11, which goes, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future." And for a while, it was just, I searched and searched for that answer. And until I realized the bigger picture of all of this, there's that emptiness inside of me. And I searched for a father figure to lead me growing up. And until I realized that ultimately Christ is my father, and He's all of our fathers, there's that emptiness inside. So it was hard growing up. But once I realized my identity in Christ and who my real father was, and while I didn't have my earthly father with me, knowing that there was my father above, really just gave me a new purpose and confidence, I guess, is the right word. And I'm not here to say that, yeah, it's been a cakewalk, but knowing that God is looking out for you and He has a plan and a purpose for you through every day, every second, every hour, it's very reassuring, I guess. And another thing was just being hard on yourself. Like, going through school, you get a bad grade on the test, it's easy to look at that and get down on yourself. Like, oh, I wanted an A, but I got a C or something. And it's easy to get into into a rut of just being down on yourself and being tough on yourself. And one thing doesn't go your way, and then it's easy to quick think of another thing that can go your way. Oh, I got to see my test. And oh, my pizza came 20 minutes late after what they said that it was going to be delivered by. Like, it's so easy as humans to focus on the negative and get down on ourselves. And that's not what God intended for us, you know. Ultimately, these little things, grades, you know, your pizza being on time, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, you know, God is in control, and there's a plan that works with everything. And growing up, there was a lot of uncertainty. You know, for my entire life, my mom raised me by herself, and there's no one on this earth that I respect more than my mom. And if you're not best friends with your mom, like, you're missing out on one of the greatest, like, friendships you can have on this earth with another human. And it was scary at times, you know, not knowing what tomorrow or next week or next month might bring, but I sort of stayed steadfast. And another one of my favorite quotes out of the Bible is Joshua 1:9, where God declares, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." So in life, yeah, we're going to face challenges. It might not be your dad passing away, but we're all going to go through challenges. And it's God's plan for us. He doesn't want to beat you down, but it's part of this life is going through challenges and obstacles, and it's about how we overcome them. And one thing that remains constant through this life is God's love for us, and He will always be constant as well. He is your biggest fan. He will always be on your side. He will always be rooting for you, and He's always in your corner cheering you on through every day. This amazing, unconditional love that you can't receive from any earthly human being. It's indescribable, really, when you think about God's love for us. No matter what we go through, what we do, how messed up we get, what mistakes we make, God ultimately loves us in a way that really we can't fathom. And so before I turn it over to Hayden, I just wanted to close with this verse. I know school can be stressful. There's uncertainty about tomorrow, what you're going to be doing after graduation, what your life's going to look like 5 years from now. But it's scary, you know? But from Psalms 23:4, the Bible says, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." So, just knowing that God is with you wherever you go, and no matter what you might encounter, no matter what you might face, God is always with you, and He's going to be with you to the very end. So that's just a little bit about myself and my testimony. If you want to talk to me afterwards, I'll be here for a little bit or anything like that. I'm certainly open to that. And definitely, if you're not involved already, join a life group. Like Dan said, there's 4 of them in DTP. So definitely, yes, Molly, definitely get involved in one. They're a great way just to talk about faith and some of the difficult questions you might be facing. It's just a great way to connect with other brothers and sisters in Christ. So with that, we're going to turn it over to Hayden.
So I'm going to share a little bit about something that's been really passionate on my heart for probably the past, how long have I been here? 3 months? 3 months. So I started going to Story Philly when I first, really when I first started coming to St. Joe's. And one of the songs that we sing is Crown. And one of the lines is all my wealth is in the cross. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what that means to me and what that should mean to us as Christians and how that really looks when we put that to action and realize all the wealth we think like our title is going to define who we are when we get older. Like relationships that we have are going to define who we are. Like the sports that I play, the sports that we all play, if we fail at those, then we're not good enough. There's other things like grades that we talked a little bit about. Like if I don't get an A on this and I get a C, like that's going to define who we are. And we realize in the end that Jesus is at the core and at the center, that we can put all of these things aside and take away the burdens off of our shoulders and recognize that because of our wealth in the cross, we don't need to carry these burdens with us. We don't need to carry all our grades, all these relationships that don't go right, all the stresses that we have with time and school and homework. That when we have Jesus Christ in the core of our heart, we can put all of our burdens on Him. We can see He's already sacrificed His life for us. And one of the things that really scares me, and not scares me because I know that Jesus is so good, but in this world, because of all these different things, and I've dealt with it myself, not clinically or anything like that, but anxiety and depression has become something that is like rampant in our world. That when I looked it up, that 18% of people that are 18 or older have dealt with anxiety and depression. So 1 in 5 people have dealt with that. If you look around in Campion, if you look around here, like 1 in 5 people have dealt with anxiety and depression. Because there's a lot of not hope in Jesus, because their hearts aren't set exactly where it needs to be. And it brings me to something that I want to share with John 4:13-15. You guys can turn to, if you have a Bible app, or a Bible with you. John 4:13-15. It says, Jesus said to her, everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never be thirsty again. The water that I will give him will become in him a spring of water welling up to eternal life. The woman said to him, Sir, give me this water so that I will not be thirsty or have to come here to draw water. I say that because in this world, there's a lot of things that we want. There's a lot of things that we think that we need in order to be happy. But we don't realize that there's a huge difference between being happy and being joyful in our life. And when we're able to have that water that Jesus has provided for us, not the water that the earth has provided for us, we can find joy in every single situation that we're in. Happiness is so circumstantial in the sense that when you get that A, when you get that good job, you can be happy. But when you lose somebody in your life, or something doesn't go your way, or you get fired from your job, you're not going to be happy. But at the end of the day, you can have joy because you know that Jesus Christ has already died for you. And He has already taken those things away from you. And He already has something else in store for you. So, one of the things I was thinking about is like in this world, we want a lot of different things, but we only need one thing. So what if we wanted that one thing as bad as we needed it? What if we wanted to have Jesus Christ at the core of our heart as bad as that we needed Jesus Christ at the core of our heart? And it's something that I struggle with every day because I want to live my life perfectly. But I realize that because of sin, I realize that because I'm not Jesus Christ, I can't live a perfect life. And that He's already done that for me. So, I want to share a little story about myself in my 10th grade year in high school and how it was right before that I came to know Jesus. And I wouldn't consider it my testimony, but it's a little part of it. So in 10th grade, I got to play baseball on varsity. I was really, really thankful for that. But at the same time, I was extremely young. I'm already young for a freshman, so I started out freshman year this year at 17 years old. So I don't even know how old I was when I was in 10th grade, but I should have been like a freshman in high school. So I was playing varsity as the age of a freshman. And I thought things were going to be good. But then I went and played, and I didn't do well at all. So I come home, and I'd be so upset because baseball is my life. I would practice for 2 hours a day. I'd have games. I'd watch baseball. I'd play video games over baseball. Like, my life was baseball. Like, Christ was not truly in the center of my heart, even though I went to church every Sunday. And I'd come home from baseball after a game that I pitched. Or I'd come home after baseball, after practice, and I'd sit in my room. And I just remember being upset and hurt because I wasn't succeeding with what I had been so good at. Because I didn't have that joy in my heart that I know that Jesus gives me now. And I wasn't happy with what I was, like I shared earlier. But it's because of times like that that I look back now that I know that I wasn't depressed. There wasn't anything wrong with me. But I know now that I have some other joy in my life practice doesn't go well, I can let it go because I know there's something else that's more important in my life than just what baseball is to me. I have something else that's passion in my heart. Where baseball used to be my only passion, I now have Jesus Christ as well. Now, it's good enough to have that in our hearts. We want to believe that Jesus Christ has died for us, but He's also called us to do something. Just like He has laid His life down for us, He is calling us to do the same for Him. So the second thing I'm going to read is Luke 9:23-25. You guys can do that as well. It says, and He said to all, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will save it. For what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses or forfeits himself? For what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses or forfeits himself? Like I said earlier, we talk a lot about wants. I want this, I want that. Christmas is coming up, and we all ask for gifts. Like, I want that gift. If we don't get it, like, darn, I didn't get my PlayStation that I really wanted. Or like, darn, I didn't get that game. Like, I didn't get that brand new car that I wish I could have got for my 16th birthday. But we could gain the entire world. Like, we could have all the money in the world and buy all of these different things. But our satisfaction isn't going to last forever. If our satisfaction is in the things that we have and these worldly things, if we gain the entire world, but we don't give up our life for Christ, then it's not going to be there forever. When the Eagles were in on Tuesday, I don't know how many of you went, but first of all, it was just absolutely amazing. Second of all, it talked about this guy who had been in 5 different Super Bowls, I believe won 5 Super Bowls. And if it wasn't for the things that he had done for Christ, if it wasn't for like books that he wrote or helped write, those 5 Super Bowl rings mean absolutely nothing now. Like, they're gone for him. But because of where his heart is, he's not gone forever. And I just think it's amazing just to say that for whoever would save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake will save it. So not only should we have this peace and understanding in our heart, but Jesus is calling us to take up our cross. He's calling us to bear this cross on our backs. The symbol of the cross is not something until Jesus Christ was glorified. It was feared. But because of Jesus Christ, because of the sacrifice that He made for us, we're able to say things like, I'm going to take up my cross and I'm going to live for Christ, and not be scared of what the cross means. Because the love that Jesus has shown for us means so much more than the fear that we have for the cross. It says in Matthew 28:19, therefore go and make disciples of all nations. But do we truly understand that the only way to go forth and make disciples of all nations is if we're rooted in one thing? If Christ is in our heart, if Christ is our number one priority, not the other wants in our life, if He is the number one thing that we are rooted in, if He is our base, then we can go forth and make disciples of all nations. There's not a better example other than Christ that went out and spoke to every single type of person, no matter where they came from, no matter who they are, no matter what they said, no matter who they judged, if they thought they were high or low. He was going to speak to them, and He was going to do all that He could to bring them closer to Him, bring them closer to a relationship with God, and help them to realize that if they're able to lay their life down for Him, then there's nothing that's going to stop them. That all of this small world that we live in, like our lives, mean this much compared to everything else that we'll go through in eternity. That these people that we go through and make disciples of all nations, we bring people to what matters in our life, and that's a relationship with God. So when we have wealth that's in the cross, and we realize that all of our wants and all of our desires are earthly and don't mean as much as what our wealth in the cross is, we can have hope. Because even when things are going wrong, even when we're upset, if we lose somebody, or if we lose a friend, we know that Jesus Christ is still good, and God is good, and He's not going to leave us. So I want to read a little bit from Crowns, which is the song that we're going to sing. And it says, my wealth is in the cross, there's nothing more I want. just to know his love. My heart is set on Christ, and I will count all else as loss. The greatest of my crowns mean nothing to me now, for I count up the cost, and all my wealth is in the cross. I'm going to read one last verse and wrap it up then. We're going to sing. But I want you guys to listen to this. It says, indeed, I count everything as loss because of the surpassing worth of knowing Christ Jesus my Lord. For his sake I have suffered the loss of all things and count them as rubbish, in order that I may gain Christ. For his sake I have suffered the loss of all things and count them as rubbish, in order that I may gain Christ. I don't know what we have to give up. For our lives, it's different for everybody. But sometimes there's a lot of things that are burdening us down. Sometimes it's just one. Sometimes it's several. And for me even, there's times where I don't even know what that thing is. It's holding me back. But I do know that when we can sacrifice that to God and give him glory, that we have a lot of hope. And there's nothing that's going to hold us back from Jesus. Because he has already made that one sacrifice for us. He has already died on the cross for us being imperfect, because he is perfect. That if we stand here and God stands here, because of Jesus Christ, we can separate that, we can get rid of that gap and have a relationship with God. Even if we're imperfect and he's perfect, we can have a relationship with God by giving up our burdens and saying, Jesus, you already died for me. So I'm going to ask, where does your wealth stand? Is it in something other than the cross? Is it in something other than Jesus? Where's your satisfaction lie? Because that satisfaction is not going to last forever if it's not in Jesus. The only thing that sticks with us forever is the love that Jesus has for us. When we start to run, he's still with us. When we walk with him, his love's still there. Whether we know him well or we don't know him at all, we receive the same love no matter who you are. Because Jesus Christ is just that good. So it says, I will count all else as lost. The greatest of my crowns can mean nothing to me now, for I count up the cost, and all my wealth is in the cross. Just let everything go, and know that what matters in your heart is Jesus Christ's love for us.
stand in glory. My crown's before the Lord. This be my confession. Wealth is in the my wealth is in the cross. There's nothing more I want. Just are perfect in all of your ways. You are. Father, one more time. You're good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am.
As we close, one, I just wanted, it's so awesome to hear people talk about what Jesus is doing in their life, and I know that it's frightening to speak in front of a large group like this, so just really grateful for you guys and the stories in your life, and thank you for sharing, and I wanted to, for some of you, this all feels very spiritual and squishy and up in the air and confusing, and squishy is one of my favorite words. And I wanted to explain a little bit, just to leave you with this idea. Why is Jesus so about you? Why is he so sacrificial? What's going on here? And one of the things I want you guys to know is to back up, and I'm going to read a passage from Colossians. Back up. God through Jesus made all of creation, and that includes you. He made you perfectly, beautifully, and with a purpose. So why do you feel so out of place at times? Why do we not always know who we are and struggle with our identity and putting our identity in other things? Why are we so afraid that we're going to screw our lives up or we're not going to get what we want? It's because there's something broken about the creation, and because of God's love for us, He wants to fix it. He wants to make us right. He wants to restore us, and it's because we are His. We are made to be in Him. It's an amazing thing to be living in stride with who you are. You know, like it's one thing to try to be somebody that you're not. Is really difficult for you, and it's really not best for the people around you. So let me read this from God's Word. Colossians 1 says about Jesus, He is the image of the invisible God. So if you ever wanted to see God, you'll see it in Jesus. He is the firstborn of all creation, for by Him all things were created, in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions, rulers or authorities. All things, which in the Greek means all things, including you, were created through Him and for Him. And He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. He is the head of the body, the church. He is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in everything He might be preeminent. For in Him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell, and through Him, to reconcile to Himself all things, to bring us back to our design, to bring us back to our Maker, back to our good Father. It says, and through Him to reconcile all things, whether on earth or in heaven, making peace, not simply, but by the blood of His cross, a great cost to Himself. And finally it says, and you, who were once alienated and hostile in mind, doing evil deeds, He has now reconciled in His body of flesh by His death. And this is the best news. In order to then present you holy and blameless and above reproach before Him. He was before you, and you were made through Him and for Him. And through His body and through His death, He is now going to restore you, put you at peace, and set you in the presence of God, holy and blameless. Who you are. And so I just want you to invite you. The God of the universe calls you to be who He made you to be and to receive His loving rescue through His Son in order to make it possible for you to be there. So I'm going to pray for you guys tonight, and we'll just continue out. I know you got lots of final things before Thanksgiving break. So, God, you are a good Father, and you did not leave us alone, but you came to us through your Son, and you want us to be with you. You want us to be who you have made us to be. You want us to thrive. You want us to excel. You want us to have joy, regardless of the circumstances, whether we suffer for a little while or whether we abound. If we are in you, we are safe. And so I just thank you. I pray that you be working on our hearts, whether we've known you for a long time or we don't know you at all. I pray that you would just be working in our hearts, God. You'd be building this community together as a thoughtful, caring community of people that pursue truth together, humbly, through life groups, through DTP Thursday nights, through coffee shop conversations. I pray that you would bless, protect, and preserve, and encourage each of these people over these last few days as they wrap up homework and get ready for a little bit of a break before it gets really crazy again. So I just pray, thankful prayers for them. They are yours. You have made them. They are amazing, made in your image. So would you just go with us as we head out tonight? In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you guys for coming. Just a reminder, if you're trying to be on a Christmas group, talk to Molly. If you want to go to Jubilee, talk to Pete. And if you're on a story this Sunday, talk to Claire.
Right.
If you want to go to Sea Light, talk to me.
That's literally important. I need to know.
Happy